Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. Am I correct? Would Link from Mod Squad be in prison already? Would the Secret Service? I think so. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, here we have, black women saying the thing out loud. Why has it taken us 4 years to get here?
Yeah. Well, this latest bombshell out of Michigan, I was saying at the top of the show, Angela, and you always say there will be a folder saying illegal that we did, that they will find. But I think not only that, apparently it's all going to be on tape. Apparently it's all just the recordings.
I feel like the MAGA people have taken scrapbooking a little too far. You're supposed to scrapbook after and never your crime.
And never your crime. But you know what? In our upcoming book, The Mindful Thief, we talk a lot about
that. Because we understand the desire for keepsakes, but it's important to not record our felonies.
Angela V. Shelton of the Detroit Sheltons. This is, of course, in Michigan. And we were saying, Jocelyn Benson wrote this whole thread about how, democracy barely held, but it held, by people speaking out and speaking up in Michigan. But I mean, the fact that Ronna McDaniels on this recording, the head of the RNC and Trump, and you wonder how many other states are there actual recordings in addition to Georgia and Michigan, right?
That just shows you how confident they were that they would never, ever, ever be held to account. Right. Because they took literally no care in how they organized their cabal to try to overthrow the government. No care at all.
They thought they can't take all of us down, the whole party, if it's the whole party. And that's what I think has been one of the things that has, that has sort of blocked this. Justice-wise, right?
Yeah. Also, just give a little bit of acknowledgement to the fact that this is how it's always been. It's always been back, calls that telling people what to do. It's just about the presidential race. This is what they do in smaller races. This is how they hold control over us all right now.
Yeah. I remember one day when I was living in New York, there was a huge snowstorm. And, in Central Park, you have to have your dog on a leash. There's certain hours. It's very strict. But I remember everybody's dog, of course, wanted to play. And someone was like, they can't arrest all of us. And so we all let our dogs off the leashes. But that's like the Republican Party. They're like, oh, they can't arrest all of us, so because it's everybody.
Well, then we need to get busy arresting all of them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. We can do it.
I just need
No, we were there, dogs running everywhere. We were like, Attica. It was,
You give us like 2-3 other black women, and we can take care of this whole problem.
Yes. You. I mean, start with the House reps who were all voting against democracy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right in front of our faces, and yet we refuse to prosecute it.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that we can only get cops sometimes prosecuted for shooting unarmed black people if we have video. But we have video of all of these people committing their acts of their crimes against the Constitution and all of us, and violence and beating up cops, and that isn't enough.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm reading Prequel right now. It's all the same stuff. Again and again and again and again.
Yeah. It's funny. I was saying I found all these old love letters that I had in a drawer somewhere, but it's so interesting. Letters from 2016 even, but talking about just the racist backlash against the first black president. It was literally. Remember, I read this letter. She was saying like her sister came in and saw Michelle Obama on TV and called her the N-word and I was saying that Trump is not just running on that same racism he ran on in the beginning. He's but turned up to 11 this time. And the sad thing is that, as we were saying, some of the polling showing they like it. His fans like it when he talks like Hitler. I mean, that's what's depressing. Yeah.
Stephanie, the reason all those women showed up the day after the inauguration in Washington is that we knew. We saw it.
We knew.
We heard it. We heard it in his rhetoric. then we were all Cassandra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, this headline this morning, Georgia election officials alert the FBI after ominous emails sent by pro-Trump activists. I mean, it's not just, Shay and Miss Ruby, right? It's just, this is, we're hearing this in state after state. And one of the most disturbing stories we did this week, Frangela, is that some of these, fake elector scheme people are still in charge in certain states. Yeah. So this coup hasn't ended until there is actual justice.
Which is why I keep on asking, so why are we up against the next election having this conversation?
Thank you.
But you know what? But we are where we are right now. And so who's responsible? Yeah. Who is the person who goes, isn't that supposed to be our Department of Justice? But we don't want to prosecute white people in power. Yeah. We have an issue in this country. We are afraid of it. Like we were afraid of it in the 1940s. We're afraid of it now.
Mm-hmm. I hate to have to read this headline to you, but
I'm sorry.
It's just you feel like you're waking up in a different era. Like I'm like back alley abortions, cross burnings, really. Burning cross outside black family's home outrages civil rights leaders. This was a recent story in South Carolina. South Carolina does not have a hate crime law. Sean and Monica Williams, who are black, are thinking about moving out of, I think they should, the town of Conway. They said they've been harassed by their neighbors for years, ranging from racial slurs to outright threats, which culminated with a cross burning outside their home just a few feet away from their yard. The neighbors were arrested over the incident, but, obviously, this is exactly proving the point why you need hate crime bills, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. But this is, I think people, what I still hear in people's voices, particularly a lot of pundits, is this inability or unwillingness to recognize that these people are straight up racists. They are straight up Nazis. They are straight up fascists. Because I want you to think about every time in your life when a brown or black friend has said to you that something happened to them, and people have, a lot of us have gone, well, maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was that. Yeah. These people have always been there. Trump didn't convert them. Now they have cover.
Chris and I were talking about Jim Ladd passing away, who was our friend, who we worked with in the same building over when we looked at KBC. They were the cool music side of the building.
Right. But, and we were the dorky talk side.
Yeah. But, and also because everybody was right wing. We were the only liberal show. But I remember, Chris, do you remember this? Was standing in the hallway with, our version of Pig Vomit, our right wing talk program director, screaming at each other about he was screaming at me, there's no such thing as hate crime. Crime is crime. And I'm like, that's a hate crime. Yeah. When you make a threat and you burn a cross, or you beat a gay guy up and leave him on a post in Wyoming, that's a different, that's a hate crime. It's but that's what
because it terrorizes the community, not just that person.
Right.
That's the point of hate crimes. The point of hate crimes isn't just to give damage to the people, the individual it's actually directed at that moment. It is to signal the world and everybody in that community what this community is okay with. Yeah. And when you have crosses burned on your lawn, what you're saying to people is, we are okay with a white ethno state. We support it.
Yeah.
That's why you have to stand up and fight it.
Yeah.
Can I just go back to the fact of we've never fought it in this country. Yeah. That when we had Nazi sympathizers in this country, we didn't prosecute those people. We set up and said, oh, look at because in this country, people can claim that they are Christians and that they are God-loving, right? Then that somehow provides a veil of security for hate crimes because they are somehow protecting Mother America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Preach.
Yeah, we call them militias and not domestic terrorists.
Yeah. That's right, because that's what and thank you, Angela, they're terrorists. Yeah. They were terrorists then. When they were silver shirts, when they were Christian, Rose, Camellia, whoever they want to be instead of the Ku Klux Klan, and we have never shut these organizations down. They are still having children generation after generation after generation, infecting people in this country with that ideology, and we can't get rid of it until America puts white men in prison.
Yeah.
It has to happen.
Has J.D. Vance defended the Burning Cross yet? Has he come up with it?
No, he hasn't put on his eyeliner in order to do that yet.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll defend anything. And things right out of Mein Kampf that Trump said they defend. I mean, we are steps away from them going, well, that's how much they love Jesus. They want to illuminate the cross for all to see. I mean, it's just like they think we're stupid. You know what I mean? It is, and they will absolutely excuse anything he does. Whether
That's
it's
right.
criminally, rhetorically, you name it.
Because they agree with it.
That's right.
They actually agree with it.
Yeah. No, that's what's terrifying is the amount of people saying it makes them more likely to vote for him. His latest Hitlery comments.
They're like, finally, my racism has a hero.
Yeah.
And what I have to appreciate is we have got to stop trying to sit here and act like we are going to convert these people.
Yeah.
That they are who they are, and we have got to be okay with that. That's who these people are.
There it is, my first drink of the day, ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic. Many of you know my story. I stopped drinking wine for 3 years during COVID, during the lockdown as part of a health reset. Now I drink wine in moderation, but this is an amazing new product. I've always believed in probiotics. And ZBiotics, check this out. You drink just one of these. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. I am using this and I feel great in the morning. I don't have to worry if I have an extra glass of wine, I still feel great in the morning. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. I've always had acid reflux problems. It is this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. All I know is it works. It is ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic. Go to zbiotics.com/politicalvoices or scan the QR code on the screen right now.